I finally landed in Rome, the eternal city, the city of ancient ruins, vibrant culture, and mouth-watering cuisine. I had dreamt of this moment for years, and now it was finally happening. I was so excited my heart was racing. The thrill of exploring a new city, especially one as historic and beautiful as Rome, was overwhelming. It was my first solo trip, and I didn't know any Italian. I had a map in one hand and a phrase book in the other, ready to take on the adventure. What could go wrong, right? Turns out, a lot. Navigating the streets of Rome without knowing the language was like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. From the second I got off the plane, it was one funny mistake after another. I tripped over my own luggage, took the wrong bus, and even managed to drop my map in a fountain. Ordering a simple espresso was like trying to win a gold medal in charades. I gestured wildly, trying to convey my need for caffeine while the barista looked on, amused. And asking for directions? Forget it. Every local I approached seemed to point me in a different direction, and I ended up more lost than before. I walked around the airport for a whole hour, feeling lost. The signs were in Italian, and my phrasebook was of little help. My phrasebook wasn't helping much, and even Google Translate could only do so much. I tried to piece together sentences, but it was like playing a game of broken telephone. The taxi ride to the hotel was a whole other adventure. The streets of Rome were bustling and the traffic was chaotic. The driver, a loud and friendly Roman, wouldn't stop talking in super fast Italian. His hands flew off the steering wheel as he gestured passionately, making me a bit nervous. I just smiled and nodded, hoping he wasn't taking me to a different city. I had no idea what he was saying, but his enthusiasm was contagious. But even with these hiccups, the craziness was exciting. Every misstep was a new story to tell, a new memory to cherish. I was in Italy, the land of pasta, pizza, and really old stuff. The food was incredible, and the landmarks were breathtaking. The language barrier was tough, but I was ready to make it fun, not a deal breaker. I laughed at my mistakes and learned from them. My Roman holiday had begun. I was ready to embrace every moment, every challenge, and every joy that this beautiful city had to offer. The Colosseum, a building that's been around forever, a reminder of the past. Standing in its shadow, I felt tiny compared to its size. It was here, with tourists from all over the world, that I realized something important. Some things are just too amazing for words. The size of the Colosseum, the echoes of gladiator fights, the stories it seemed to tell, they didn't need any translation. I walked through the ruins, imagining the amazing events that happened there. The crowds cheering, the sounds of swords clashing, the joy of winning, the pain of losing. It was an experience I could almost feel, one that touched my heart. In that moment, surrounded by the memory of Roman emperors and brave fighters, not speaking Italian didn't matter. We were all connected by the incredible sight in front of us, sharing a feeling that went beyond language. Florence, the birthplace of amazing art, welcomed me with open arms, its cobblestone streets echoing with centuries of history. The city felt like a living museum, with every corner revealing a new story, a new masterpiece, but not many English speakers. This added a layer of adventure to my trip, as I navigated through the city with my limited Italian and a lot of hand gestures. First stop, the Uffizi Gallery, home to famous paintings by Botticelli and Michelangelo. The grandeur of the building itself was awe-inspiring, a testament to the rich cultural heritage of Florence. The line for tickets was super long, but I joined it, armed with my phrase book and a hopeful smile. The anticipation of seeing such renowned artworks kept my spirits high despite the wait. When I finally reached the ticket counter, my carefully practiced Italian completely disappeared. My mind went blank, and I felt a wave of panic. I stuttered, I pointed, I even did a silly dance trying to explain what I wanted. It was a comical scene, and I could see the amusement in the eyes of the people around me. The lady at the counter, used to confuse tourists, felt sorry for me. She had a kind smile and a patient demeanor, which immediately put me at ease. With a wave of her hand and a burst of fast Italian, she got me my tickets. Her efficiency was impressive, and I was grateful for her help. I thanked her a lot. She definitely understood even though we didn't speak the same language. It was a moment of human connection that transcended words. Tired but happy, I entered the Uffizi. The interior was just as magnificent as I had imagined, with grand halls and exquisite artworks adorning the walls. Later that evening, starving after a day of looking at art, I found a cute little restaurant tucked away on a side street. The ambiance was cozy, with soft lighting and the aroma of delicious food wafting through the air. I couldn't understand the menu at all, so I just pointed to a random dish. It was a gamble, but I was too hungry to care. It turned out to be the best pasta I've ever had. The flavors were rich and authentic, a true taste of Italy. Sometimes giving up control and taking a chance leads to the best discoveries. This trip to Florence was filled with such moments, making it an unforgettable adventure. Venice, a city built on water, where streets are canals and gondolas are like taxis. As soon as I got off the train, the sounds of Venice surrounded me. The gentle splashing of water against gondolas, the singing gondoliers, the chatter in a language I couldn't understand. Finding my way in this maze-like city became all about using my senses. I learned to follow my ears with the sound of water as my guide. Maps were useless and logic went out the window. I relied on my gut feeling, which led me down narrow alleys and over charming bridges. Of course, I got lost a lot, but every wrong turn led to something new and exciting. A hidden courtyard, a busy market, a stunning view of the Grand Canal. Venice, I realized, wasn't meant to be explored with a guidebook, but with an open heart and a willingness to get wonderfully lost. Lost in the maze of Venice's streets, I found a tiny shop selling beautiful Murano glass. The shopkeeper, a woman with the warmest eyes, greeted me with a cheerful "Ciao." I pointed to a stunning glass paperweight, its colors swirling like a captured sunset. We tried to talk, using my broken Italian, some gestures, and a whole lot of laughter. She showed me pictures of her family, her pride shining through even without a shared language. I left the shop with a beautiful souvenir and a heart full of warmth. In those few moments, we connected as people, going beyond words. It reminded me that even in a foreign country, kindness is a language everyone understands. Leaving busy Venice behind, I traveled to the peaceful hills of Tuscany. Life here was slower, following the rhythms of nature and old traditions. I ended up in a small village, surrounded by vineyards and olive groves, the air filled with the aroma of rosemary and lavender. I joined a group for a traditional Tuscan cooking class. We kneaded pasta dough, cooked sauces, and shared stories, our laughter filling the kitchen. We didn't all speak the same language, but we bonded over our love of food and the joy of cooking together. That evening, we enjoyed the delicious results of our hard work, the table overflowing with pasta, grilled meats, and fresh vegetables. Wine flowed freely, and stories were shared with enthusiasm. In the heart of Tuscany, surrounded by new friends and the warmth of Italian hospitality, I felt a million miles away from my lonely arrival in Rome. Milan, the fashion capital of Italy, was a whirlwind of fancy clothes and stylish chaos. The city buzzed with an energy that was both exhilarating and intimidating. Every corner seemed to host a fashion show, with locals strutting down the streets as if they were runways. I walked the streets, amazed by the perfectly dressed Milanese people. Their effortless style was something to behold, a blend of classic elegance and modern chic. It was as if they had all stepped out of the pages of a high-end fashion magazine. My attempts to fit in, however, were met with amused smiles. Despite my best efforts, my outfit choices seemed to scream "tourist" louder than I intended. The locals were kind, though, often offering a friendly nod or a gentle laugh. I definitely didn't get the wear all black memo. My colorful attire stood out in stark contrast to the sleek monochrome ensembles that dominated the streets. It was a lesson in fashion humility, but also a reminder of the city's vibrant diversity. One afternoon, I came across a vintage clothing market. The stalls were brimming with unique pieces, each with its own story to tell. It was a treasure trove for anyone with a love for fashion history. I tried to ask the vendor about a really cool hat, but my Italian was mostly hand gestures and funny noises. The language barrier was a challenge, but it also added a layer of humor to the interaction. The vendor, a woman with a quick wit and an even quicker smile, decided to help me out. She seemed to enjoy the challenge of deciphering my attempts at communication. She taught me some basic Italian fashion words. Apparently, cappello molto bello means very beautiful hat, and we shared a laugh over my pronunciation. It was a small but meaningful connection in a city that often felt overwhelming, and even helped me choose a scarf to complete my look. scarf was a perfect blend of style and comfort, a small piece of Milanese fashion that I could take home with me. That evening, I went to a performance at La Scala, Milan's famous opera house. The grandeur of the building was breathtaking, a testament to the city's rich cultural heritage. The music, the voices, the drama of it all. It was an experience that went beyond words. Each note seemed to resonate with the history and passion of the performers, creating a tapestry of sound that enveloped the audience. As the last notes echoed through the grand theater, I felt a profound sense of connection. It was as if the music had woven a thread between the past and the present, linking everyone in the room in a shared moment of beauty. I felt connected not just to the performers on stage, but to the entire audience. We were all part of something larger, a collective appreciation for the art that transcended language and culture. But to all the people who had been moved by the power of music within those walls, it was a night that reminded me of the universal language of art, and how it has the power to bring people together no matter where they come from. As my Italian adventure came to an end, I thought about the amazing journey I had been on. I had explored ancient ruins, seen Renaissance masterpieces, and navigated busy city streets, all without speaking any Italian. Had it been tough? Absolutely. Had it been frustrating sometimes? Definitely. But it had also been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I had stepped outside my comfort zone, embraced the unknown, and discovered a strength and resourcefulness I didn't know I had. More importantly, I had connected with people from all walks of life, sharing moments of laughter, kindness, and shared humanity. I had learned that communication goes beyond words, that a smile can say 1,000 words, and that shared laughter can bridge even the biggest cultural differences. I returned home not just with souvenirs and stories, but with a new appreciation for the power of human connection and the beauty of embracing the unknown. And while my Italian may still be limited to ciao, grazie, and un cappuccino per favore, the memories I made and the lessons I learned will stay with me forever.
Artianza Remix.